Good morning to everyone. My name is William Rios Maldonado. I am the director of the procurement division in the CDBG-DR program for the Department of Housing. Along with me this morning is procurement specialist Winnet Cortez and Joel Ocasio. Also, we have from the Puerto Rico Department of Housing, engineer Doyle Muniz. We also have from our grant manager, and we also have from the Puerto Rico Department of Housing, Mari Carmen Figueroa. We'll be talking about Section 3 and other requirements for the procurement and for contracting with the CDBG-DR program. As I mentioned, we also have some people from the grant manager from Horn that also works for support the procurement division. So today we have this pre-bid meeting for the CDBG-DR RFP 2021-01. This is for program management services for community energy and water resilience installation program. We welcome you and we appreciate your interest in participating in this procurement process. We must say that all procurement processes shall be conducted in accordance to the terms established in the procurement manual and contractual requirements to guarantee full and open competition or fair treatment of all persons or entities involved in each procurement process. The procurement manual is available at our website for the CDBG-DR program. You can download, and we recommend strongly that you become familiar with the provisions included in the manual. And it is incorporated by reference and made an integral part of this RFP. Nothing said at the pre-bid meeting will change any of the terms of the RFP except a written amendment to the solicitation issued through an addendum. We hope that this pre-bid meeting helps you in making a good position to prepare your proposal. Now I will leave you with Doyle Muniz, who will talk to you regarding the scope of services. Doyle.
Good morning, all, and thank you, William. First of all, great to see the amount of people and different companies interested in the program. So let's talk a little bit about the scope of the program, basically. As you know, this is the program management services that we're procuring for the Community Energy and Water Resilience Installation Program. I'll guide you through this little presentation here that we have. Okay, so a quick program description will be that the Community Energy and Water Resilience Installations Program will provide homeowners, business, and or public facilities energy and water efficiency improvements to promote the resilience with the installation of PV systems with battery backup for critical loads specifically, and water storage systems. Okay. When we talk about homes, public facilities, and businesses, those are within these three programs that we already have in the CDBG-DR portfolio of programs. We're talking about the home repair, reconstruction, or relocation program. That's the famously known as R3, the Social Interest Housing Program, and the Small Business Incubators and Accelerators Program. So going a little bit of more detail, the PV systems with battery backups. So for the energy resilience installation, this photovoltaic system with battery backup will allow eligible applicants the ability to run critical loads, some household appliances, life support devices, and permit for shelter-in-place options during outages. For water resilience installations, the Water Star system will provide households with the ability to store water to be used when there is an interruption in water services. Okay. So going a little bit into detail on the program structure, the roles and responsibilities that we're expecting from this program manager. So the contractual relationship will be directly with the PRDOH, and also we'll have in another competitive process a group of installers. We're calling them installers. We're gonna have at that moment we'll talk about those responsibilities and roles. But for the PM part of it, the PM would have a direct contract with the PRDOH, as the installer will have. But the PM will have a responsibility to have, say, an oversight over the installation. So directly with what we have here, the PMs as a general program management and administration, you'll have some key stuff for that general part of the management. And you'll have to complete applications and pre-installation assessments review. That's part of the task that will be expected. A scope of work review and program award coordination. That's basically the second task of the scope of the PM. And finally, you'll have a third task will be the final inspection, payment request, and closeout of the cases. Key and other team members. Want to focus first on what's the key stuff for the program. You have a program manager, an operations manager, complaints coordinator, and a safety officer. That's the key stuff, the core stuff for the administration and general management of the program. We'll have another set of stuff that will be case managers, inspectors, and environmental specialists. Those roles, those other staff would be directly in the task part of your proposal. The key staff team members must be ready to begin working within 2 weeks after the contemplated contract execution date. Again, the key staff shall be considered working full-time throughout the term of the contract. That's the core staff that will be managing and operating the program. Going a little bit in the Exhibit O for the cost forms, just for context, first part of the cost form would be for those key staff resources. So there you have a program manager, you have the operations manager, the complaints coordinator, and the safety officer, as I already mentioned in the last slide. So for this administration part of the program, you will submit a labor rate and obviously calculate the maximum monthly cost for this staff. And that's the way you're gonna propose your cost for this part of your proposal. Going into the task part of the proposal, that's why I wanted to be clear when we talk about the stuff and we saw the structure for the stuff. The other stuff that we talked about, the inspector, the coordinators, and the environmental specialists will be inside this task that you're seeing here. So you're gonna propose a cost for each and one of these units you have in this proposal. We are suggesting 5,000 units for each of these tasks. So task one, we have the completion, the complete of applications and pre-installation assessments review. Task two will be the scope of work review and program award coordination. The task three will be a final inspection, payment request, and close out of the cases you have been assigned. After that, third part of your cost form, just the sum of both proposed or the general administration part of your proposal and the task part of your proposal for a total, including the allowance that is already suggested, for a total unit of your proposal, maximum number of your proposal. I've included this schedule within the presentation. I know it's in the presentation of our procurement colleagues, but just for reference, wanted to include it here. Really quickly over it. Let's get to today. We have the pre-bid today. You have until January 22 for submission of questions and requests for clarifications. That's a really important part of this. We encourage you all to participate and submit your questions as soon as possible, obviously before January 22, but don't miss the date because that's really important for the program to be successful, okay? Responses to questions and requests for clarifications should be published by January 28th. Proposals will be due or it will be electronically, it will be an electronic submission only, but it will be open within the CDBG-DR webpage from February 17 up to February 19 at 4 p.m. Okay. The evaluation period, this is expected. We always say expected because we don't know the quantity of what we're gonna receive. As I am seeing here, we have a lot of stakeholders and a lot of interested people in the program, and that's really good. So as of right now, we expect for us to have the evaluation period from February 23 up to April 23. Notice, again, all of these are gonna be depending on the evaluation period, but for the notice of award, May 6, and we hope to have a contract executed by May 13, okay? Just as a reminder, I know that our colleagues in procurement have shared this, but inquiries and communications regarding the RSP, they must be submitted through CDBG-DR -- procurement @ Vivienda www.pr.gov. That's all of my part completed. So I believe I'll leave you with Winnet Cortez. She'll guide you through the procurement requirement and processes.
Thank you, Doyle. Good morning, everyone. My name is Winnet Cortez. Please remember, details for the services are included in attachment 1, scope of services. And talking about the liquidated damages, this RFP provides for liquidated damages as related to established timeframes of performance. The PRDOH and the proposer will agree on the timetable for the deliverables of each task. For this RFP, the PRDOH established as liquidated damages 200 for each calendar day that a deliverable required is late until deemed in compliance, subject to a maximum of $2,000. Insurance requirements. Proposers shall be aware that in case of resulting selected for the award of this RFP, proposer must have a minimum of required insurance policies and coverage. For details regarding insurance requirements, refer to attachment 4 of the RFP instruction. Document acquisition. The RFP documents are available for download on the CDBG-DR website. Submission of inquiries and addenda. Proposers shall submit all questions in writing on or before February 17, 2021 at 4 p.m. to the CDBG-DR mailing address. Responses to all proposers' questions will be answered by addenda and will be posted on the CDBG-DR website. All procurement documents pertaining to the procurement process, including addenda issued by the PRDOH, are and will be available for download at CDBG-DR website. All prospective proposers must monitor the CDBG website to retrieve addenda if any issue for this procurement process. Proposal electronic submission. Responses to the RFP will only be accepted by electronic means. Proposers are advised that the PRDOH will neither require nor accept physical proposal submissions. If proposals are submitted in both electronic and in paper formats, the PRDOH will only consider the electronic format for evaluation. The proposer will receive access to submit the electronic proposal after registration process is completed through the CDBG-DR website. Proposers will be requested to provide and validate an email address. Proposal must be submitted on or before February 19, 2021 at 4 p.m. Access to upload the electronic proposals will commence 3 business days prior to the scheduled due date and time. Prior electronic proposal submission on the CDBG-DR website, proposer must take into consideration the following. Check your internet connection before starting to upload the electronic proposal documents. As the due date time draws near, heavy traffic on the web server may cause delays. Plan ahead and leave ample time to prepare and submit your proposal. Proposer bear the risk of website inaccessibility due to your proposal. Proposer bear the risk of website inaccessibility due to heavy usage in the final hours before the RFP closing time. The website will not allow registration past the scheduled due time. If the proposer starts the registration process close to the scheduled due time and the proposal submission deadline closes, the system will not allow to complete the registration. Therefore, the proposer will not be able to upload the proposal documents. If the proposer starts the proposal upload close to the scheduled due time and the proposal submission deadline closes, the system will not allow to complete the proposal documents upload. Therefore, the proposal will not be considered. The proposer must submit the mandatory requirements, qualification and work approach, and the cost proposal requirements in the identified sections at the website. The documents must be submitted in PDF format. Multiple PDFs may be merged into one single document. Also, multiple files may be uploaded in a zip file. The maximum upload size for each document or compressed file is 500 megabytes. The proposer is solely responsible for on-time submission under electronic proposal. The PRDOH will only consider electronic proposal that have been transmitted successfully within the RFP requested format. During document upload process, the proposer will be able to click on the document and have a preview of the uploaded documents. Incomplete electronic proposals with errors or viruses or corrupted files are found after the upload will not be accepted. During submission period, proposer experiences any technical difficulties may contact the PRDOH at cdbg-procurement@vivienda.pr.gov. If CDBG-DR website fails during the submission period on or before the scheduled time deadline, the PRDOH will provide instruction via addendum to the proposers. Once the electronic proposal is submitted, the proposal is logged in the system until PRDOH completes its evaluation. Therefore, the proposer must assure that all documentation required by the RFP has been correctly uploaded at the submission due date. The proposer must be aware that modification to the electronic proposal will not be allowed once the submission is completed. Now, Joel Ocasio will explain the evaluation criteria for this RFP.
Thank you, Winnet. I will going to explain to you the evaluation criteria. This is what will be taken into consideration at the moment of the evaluation. This RFP includes the following evaluation criteria. First, the mandatory requirements. Mandatory requirements will be scored as either pass or fail. Failure to comply with all the mandatory requirements of this RFP will result in the disqualification of the proposer. Mandatory requirements includes, among others, financial requirements, audited, reviewed, or compiled financial statements for the most recent 2 years issued by a certified public accountant and prepared in accordance with U.S. generally accepted accounting principles. The financial statement must include a balance sheet, statement of operation, statement of cash flow, and notes to the financial statements. Copy of the income tax return for the same 2 years, or if the proposer has more than 1 year in operation but less than 2, please provide the requested information for the last fiscal or calendar year. The most recent interim year-to-date financial statement for a period ending not later than 60 days before the proposal submission date. The interim financial statements must include at least a balance sheet and a statement of operations. We will require a line of credit or cash availability. The amount required of the unencumbered line of credit, available cash balances, or a combination thereof is a minimum of $304,000. We also require a pending litigation and no background sworn statements. The information submitted will permit a pass or fail grading following a scoring process by the PRDOH. In the evaluation process, a total grading of 70% or more is required to obtain a rating of pass. We will require some notarial documents. All notarial documents executed outside Puerto Rico shall be authenticated and subsequently needs to have an apostille or certification from the Secretary of State, county clerk, or corresponding authority of the state government. Notarial documents executed in one of the Hague Convention of 1961 participating countries shall include the corresponding apostille or certification issued pursuant to the Hague Convention of 1961. Notarial documents executed in countries which are not signatories to the Hague Convention of 1961 must be authenticated by the corresponding authority of the United States. Continuing with the evaluation criteria, there are some qualifications that you must pass. The qualification requirements will have a total maximum score of 40 points. Qualification requirements includes, among others, comparable projects. You as a proposer must provide a list of 3 projects within the past 10 years in which the proposer's program manager or deputy program manager and or team member and or first-tier subcontractor has provided under contract with grantees of federal grants. Contracts submitted must demonstrate similar program management services for programs that combined had a minimum allocation amount of $5 million. Also in the qualifications, we'll take into consideration the key staff related to the engagement as identified in the RFP instructions and the scope of services. We will take in consideration in qualifications the references. Each proposal shall provide at least 3 past or current clients' references for program management services of the non-federal mesh program. Proposers will provide for each reference the client name, contact person, phone, email address, and description of services provided in the Exhibit L. The PRDOH will send via email to each reference provided a performance rating questionnaire to the contact person identified in the Exhibit L. The PRDOH will require a response to the performance rating questionnaire within 5 business days from the date sent. The PRDOH reserves the right to extend this period as may be appropriate. It's important that the PRDOH will not be responsible for reference that are not received during the established period. The evaluation criteria also includes the work approach. Each proposal shall draft and submit a work approach document as part of the proposal. The work approach will have a total maximum score of 60 points. It includes the understanding of the overall implementation of the CDBG-DR Community Energy and Water Resilience Installation Program to be managed as part of the RFP, scope of service, and overall plan for the management of different subtext and deliverables. Also, we'll take in consideration the cost proposal requirements. Cost proposals will be submitted by proposers using Exhibit O. The proposer will be compensated based on hours worked and hourly rate for each of the key staff and other staff identified in RFP. The proposal's evaluation will be scored using a best value methodology. Proposals will be evaluated on their technical capabilities, namely the proposer's qualification and work approach. And a score for each criterion will be assigned based on the maximum allowable points stated in the RFP. To be considered as a qualified proposer, proposals will need to achieve a technical score greater than or equal to 70 points. Also, every proposer will have been registered in the SAM register. The proposers and first-tier subcontractors must be registered in the System for Award Management, or SAM, at the time of the proposal submission or initiate the registration process right after the proposal submission. For more information about the System for Award Management, go to https://www.sam.gov. There is no registration fee to create or renew or update the organization's information on the system. Awards will only be issued to entities which are cleared and not ineligible for award or a contract due to suspension, debarment, or HUD imposed limited denial of participation. Also, our proposers will have to take in consideration what is Section 3 proposed plan and MWBE. The PRDOH recognizes its obligation to promote opportunities for maximum feasible participation of certified minority and women-owned business enterprises, and the employment of minority group members and women in the performance of the contracts. All participating entities engaged with PRDOH must make a commitment and demonstrate acceptable good faith effort toward achievement of PRDOH, MBE, and WBE subcontracting goals. Now, I will leave you with Maria del Carmen Figueroa, who will explain further what Section 3 and MWE consists.
Thank you, Joel. Let's share my screen real quick. Please confirm that you are seeing my presentation.
Yes.
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 Right. Well, hello everyone. Thank you for the time to present our introduction to federal civil rights compliance and labor standards pre-submission training. This presentation is prepared in English. However, should anyone need this presentation in Spanish, you can request using the protocols for the RFP to submit the request. Si alguien necesita esta presentación en español, puede usar el proceso de entrega de preguntas de este RFP para solicitar esta presentación en español. My name is Maria del Carmen Figueroa, and I am Assistant Deputy Secretary for Disaster Recovery and also lead for civil rights compliance areas. Today, we will discuss compliance roles and responsibilities, introduction to compliance areas and tools online, policy, training and reporting, and some FAQs. Compliance in civil rights includes the following areas: Section 3, training, new hiring and contracting opportunities compliance, minority and woman-owned business participation compliance, fair housing and equal opportunity compliance, and Davis-Bacon and related acts compliance. This training focuses on MWBE and fair housing. All contractors to PRDOH or subrecipients using CDBG-DR funding have certain roles and responsibility regarding federal compliance. Those include assigning staff who will attend to the day-to-day activities for civil rights compliance, attending trainings and workshops, executing activities and documentation needed, completing quarterly reporting, using tools and templates provided by PRDOH, participating in PRDOH-sponsored technical assistance, and complying with reporting. The Section 3.10 speaks about the submission of the Section 3 plan and provides you direct links to resources that will help you to understand in detail Section 3 and MWBE. This section also speaks about an MWBE utilization plan and provides you direct links to resources that will help you to complete the utilization plan. Finally, in Section 7, the PRDOH shall provide a preference of 5 points in the evaluation criteria of the method of rating for a greater participation of Section 3 businesses concerned and MWBE registered Puerto Rico businesses. This presentation will cover the basic on how to identify and qualify as either a Section 3 or an MWBE businesses. These are the Section 3 basics. Section 3 is a federal requirement from the Housing and Urban Development Act of 1968. It states to provide to the greatest extent feasible job training, employment, contracting, and other economic opportunities generated by a certain HUD. Financial assistance shall be directed to low and very low income persons and businesses. Section 3 Policy Guide. PRDOH has published the Section 3 policy and made it available in English and Spanish. You are encouraged to click on the links and access the resources. Puerto Rico has a great potential to engage Section 3 candidates, ranging from new graduates from universities or trade schools, residents or public housing, those who receive federal benefits, and those impacted by COVID-19 job losses. A Section 3 resident is an individual who is currently a public housing resident or an individual who resides in the metropolitan area or non-metropolitan county in which the Section 3 cover assistance is expanded, and who is a low-income person or a very low-income person. Individuals who meet the 2019 or 2020 income limits for Puerto Rico as an individual or for their family income can qualify as a Section 3 resident. These limits are significantly higher than the normal CDBG income limits that will otherwise apply to various localities. However, HUD has authorized the use of these limits for the purpose of determining and documenting compliance with Section 3 in connection with disaster recovery assistance. Section 3 businesses concerned are 51% or more owned by Section 3 residents or 30% or more of the business permanent full-time employees are currently Section 3 residents, or within 3 years of the date of the first employment with the business were Section 3 residents, or can provide evidence of a commitment to subcontract in excess of 25% of the dollar award of all subcontracts to Section 3 businesses. PRDOH has created various forms for maintaining compliance with Section 3, such as a Section 3 contractor plan, a Section 3 recipient plan. These document templates allow contractors and recipients to identify how they plan on being in compliance with Section 3 hiring, training, and contracting goals. Section 3 self-certification forms. These document templates help individuals and businesses identify if they meet the requirements to be considered a Section 3 individual or business. These documents are available as templates for contractors and subrecipients. And finally, the documentation of efforts form. These document templates allow contractors or recipients to identify how they are performing efforts to be in compliance with Section 3 efforts. Let's take a closer look at the Section 3 plan for contractors or recipients. These tools help identify methods of achieve Section 3 hiring, training, and contracting goals. They frame goals and data, facilitate planning which makes compliance achievable, prepares coordinators for the day-to-day activities they will be performing, provides guidance on types of activities to be performed, and foster awareness of HUD resources. Section 3 self-certification forms. We encourage businesses and individuals to complete PRDOH self-certification forms to uncover if they meet the income threshold for Section 3 resident or a Section 3 businesses. HUD Business Registry. Once you complete your self-certification, we encourage you qualifying business to also register with HUD as a Section 3 business. Let's talk about the compliance with minority and women enterprise contracting participation. That is very important. And today we will briefly discuss some of the basics related to this area. As a recipient of HUD financial assistance, the Uniform Administrative Requirements at 2 CFR 321 require PRDOH to ensure that when possible, contracts and other economic opportunities funded in whole or in part with federal housing and community development assistance are directed to minority business enterprise and women business enterprise. Contractors will take all necessary affirmative steps to assure that minority firms and women's business enterprises are reached out to and used when possible. Efforts should be documented and utilization plans should be provided to PRDOH. A MBE is defined as a business which at least 51% is owned, operate, and controlled on a daily basis by one or more in combination can be American citizen of the following ethnic minority and or gender, and or military veteran classifications: African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, Native American, Hasidic Jew, persons with disabilities, and other individuals who can prove social and economic disadvantage. A WBE is a business concern that is at least 51% owned and controlled by women or one woman or more. Must be USA citizens or legal residence alien, whose business formation and principal place of business are in the US or its territories, and whose management and daily operation is controlled by women. The MWBE requirements apply to all procurement contracts of 10,000 or more. MWBE applies to professional services and construction work. The participation requirements is based on the total amount of each individual prime contract awarded by PRDOH. These requirements may be met either through the initial contract award if the prime is a MWBE, or the requirement may be met through subcontracts specified within the prime bidder's proposal or bid within the MWBE utilization plan. The MWBE participation requirements is 20%, 10% for MBE and 10% for WBE. PRDOH has created various forms for maintaining compliance with MWBE, such as a MWBE utilization plan. These document templates allow contractors or recipients to identify how they plan on being in compliance with MWBE contracting goals and the MWBE waiver form. These document templates help recipients or contractors identify if they met the requirements to waive their goal for participation for MWBE. Let's take a closer look at the MWBE utilization plan. These tools allows contractors and or recipients to identify MWBE contracting goals, compile data for MWBE subcontractors, plan ahead subcontracting needs, prepare users on creating supplier or contractor lists of MWBE, provides awareness of meeting the goal for the contract, and help with tracking utilization. Let's review completing the MWBE utilization plan. The PRDOH MWBE utilization plan can be used throughout the life of your contract with PRDOH. Completing the MWBE utilization plan is easy. Read their general instruction in row 3. You complete section A, B, and F from the document and complete the information requested in the yellow cells. PRDOH webpage offers these resources in English and Spanish publicly for contractors to use. You can submit the copy of your certification as a MWBE firm. You can access the template for the utilization plan. You can access the template to document efforts. You can download and read the MWBE policy for PRDOH. Certified minority or woman-owned business can be those who have filed applications with federal entities such as SBA and others. Businesses who are certified can provide proof of completing these application processes to be recognized as certified minority or woman-owned businesses. If you are registered as a MWBE businesses, you should provide your valid certificate or other evidence in your response to the RFP, to this RFP. PRDOH invites MWBE businesses to provide copies of their certification with PRDOH. Our web form is available in English and Spanish. Another area of compliance is fair housing and equal opportunity. Today we will briefly discuss some of the basics related to this topic. Your RFP package also contains attached number 2 model contract, which speaks to fair housing and equal opportunity areas of compliance that you will need to be in compliance with if you should be awarded with this contract. Attached number 2 model contract also has a general compliance clause in 26 compliance with federal law, regulation, and executive orders. The PRDOH, the RFP attachment number 2 model contract document also contains section 30, equal opportunity to ensure standards of non-discrimination in clause A and B. It also speaks to what could happen in the event of non-compliance. Contractors are responsible for ensuring compliance with federal civil rights and fair housing through their contractors, subcontractors, etc., and ensuring all necessary efforts are made. The Fair Housing Act and Section 109 and 504 prohibit discrimination against the following protected classes of people. The Fair Housing Act is part of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Many executive orders laws and statutes govern the non-discrimination of protected classes to ensure equal opportunity for individuals in accessing federal funding programs. As a recipient of HUD financial assistance, PRDOH must ensure that all programs affirmatively further access to fair housing and all programs provide equal opportunity for participation and employment. PRDOH CBDG-DR programs will take meaningful action to combat discrimination, overcome historic patterns of segregation, promote fair housing choice, and foster inclusive communities. All CBDG-DR programs must ensure that policies and procedures do not have the effect of discriminating against any individuals from protected classes. Reasonable accommodations are changes made to policies, practices, services, and structures to afford equal opportunity to individuals with disabilities. The costs associated with providing reasonable accommodation and modifications are to be incurred by programs receiving federal funding. HUD contemplates these additional costs as necessary to ensure that the program and activities it funds do not discriminate against people with disabilities. The reasonable accommodation policy and federal compliance labor standards division can provide guidance on the handling and evaluation of reasonable accommodation requests. Limited English proficiency refers to a person's limited ability to read, write, speak, or understand English. Due to Puerto Rico high Spanish-speaking population, all entities using CBDG-DR funding must seek to ensure both that a person's limited ability to read, write, speak, or understand English or Spanish will not place them at a disadvantage in participation of programs. The Department of Housing has policy documents for fair housing and equal opportunity, as well as a language access plan. These policies must be implemented by contractors and subrecipients. They are available publicly online in English and Spanish. We are encouraged to click on the links and access the resources available. Davis-Bacon and related acts for construction contracts. Because this RFP scope of work speaks to the ability to provide support services for wage compliance, we will flag Davis-Bacon resources from PRDOH briefly. Davis-Bacon applies to construction-related contracts over $2,000 and for housing projects with more than 8 units, as well as public construction projects. PRDOH has published the Davis-Bacon policy and made it available in English and Spanish. PRDOH's subrecipients and their contractors must implement and comply with the PRDOH Davis-Bacon and related acts policy when applicable. Most construction projects funded with CBDG-DR funds must comply with DEBRA requirements to ensure that laborers and mechanics are paid prevailing wages, including overtime wages for the work performed on CBDG-DR funded projects. Contract awarded contracts funded with CBDG-DR are responsible for understanding and complying with DEBRA requirements. PRDOH and its subrecipients are responsible for reviewing payroll and other records related to the work performed on CBDG-DR funded construction projects to ensure compliance with DEBRA requirements. As part of our guidelines and implementation, we discussed the applicability of the Davis-Bacon and related acts. PRDOH is committed to helping subrecipients and contractors achieve compliance. Our compliance unit will be directly working with program areas and subrecipients and their contractors to provide these resources and more. Training, documenting efforts, and reporting. Once awarded a contract, you will be able to participate in training sessions for your staff to be in compliance with these requirements. We have developed training curriculums which provide step-by-step approach to learn, understand, and implement requirements for each program area. We will send invitations for training sessions, both Microsoft Teams and eventually in person when permissible and appropriate. Once contractors are awarded, we are notified of the need for training. Our department provides tools to help make reporting practical. The documentation of efforts template has demystified the process of documenting efforts. This form uses drop-down menus and highlight efforts described in the PRDOH policy documents. This approach allows the coordinators to focus on doing activities rather than trying to think of their own system for documenting efforts. This document is available in English and Spanish. The reporting template will assist in collecting data quarterly to maintain oversight on progress with Section 3 MWBE goals and compliance with FHEO. PRDOH quarterly report will capture multiple compliance areas of data all in one Excel form. I know, isn't that exciting? Yeah, we will have the Section 3 data include the MWBE, the FHEO, and obviously the Davis-Bacon if applicable. Awarded contractors will be responsible for reporting 4 times a year to ensure that they are performing efforts related to Section 3 and MWBE. Our trainees will provide vital information to ensure contractors will be able to comply. The quarterly reporting template is also available on the PRDOH website. Let's briefly discuss some common frequently asked questions. Can a business be both Section 3 and MWBE? Yes, a business subcontractor can be both because those compliance areas are separate. Section 3 identify level of incomes to determine status, and MWBE uses race and gender information to qualify a businesses. If I am not planning on subcontracting, do I still need to complete documents? Yes, you should still submit your MWBE utilization plan, the Section 3 plan, the documentation of efforts template, and the quarterly reports. If Section 3 doesn't apply to my project, do I still have to complete the quarterly report? Yes, you will have to complete the MWBE report and the FHEO report areas. If I'm either an MWBE or WBE, do I fulfill the total goals? You may have safe harbor for one of the goals for MWBE, participation of 10%, but you still have an additional 10% goal to show good faith efforts for any subcontracting or purchasing you perform with CBDGDR funding. What happens if I don't fulfill the goals before the end of my contract? All awarded contractors should perform and document efforts. PRDOH has developed templates discussed in this presentation that help you complete this exercise. You can submit a waiver before the end of your contract for approval. This waiver request should be submitted with the efforts and justifications as appropriate. The Puerto Rico Department of Housing ensures equal opportunity and offers reasonable accommodation for those who would like to use our services. Thank you for attending today's training. We hope you found the material helpful. Please remember to direct all your questions through the established protocols for this procurement. William, Laura, and the PRDOH procurement team, thank you for the opportunity to present this material today. I will stop sharing the presentation so you can continue with the session.
Thank you, Maria. We remind you that you may submit questions or requests for clarifications on or before January 2022. 2021 at 4 p.m. We thank you all of you for your attendance this morning to this private meeting. Please keep safe and have a nice day. Thanks.